what's more iconic to this building in America as they climb up the stairwell, because we know what those stairwells signify.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was great to be back, to climb the stairs again in memory of Captain Billy Bird, firefighter Stephen Siller.
It's also a wonderful way for us to honor the veterans and the first responders who sacrificed their lives.
I hope we can continue to make this world a better place. Much love.
We're coming to you from the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, honoring the memories of those we lost on September 11th, 2001. In the more than 20 years since that day, we have found the strength to move forward while promising to never forget. Among the many events that have allowed us to physically and mentally persevere is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation's Tower Climb New York City.
We did it.
This year will mark the 7th time climbers will take on the 2,226 steps, 104 floors to reach the top of One World Trade Center. The finish line not only represents the mission of our fallen 9/11 first responders, but symbolizes a sense of hope and another step forward for many. Among those who have been turning the page on that new chapter in their lives are 3 mothers who will serve as honorary starters for this year's climb. Antoine Lewis has their story.
Are we there? Yes.
The stairwell is hot. It's like really hot until you hit every once in a while where they have the doors open and everybody's like, oh.
Yes.
As they strategize for this year's Tower Climb New York City, Shannon Slutman and Irene Sullivan say they will lean on one another, something they've been doing now for years.
Women who are going through this, you need those friends that you could lean on. You really do.
In August of 2019, FDNY Lieutenant Brian Sullivan of Squad Company 41 in the Bronx suffered a heart attack after a grueling 24-hour tour. Sullivan had responded to 7 emergency calls, including a fire. The heart attack was fatal. Brian Sullivan was 54.
Biggest smile, most beautiful blue eyes, great husband, incredible father, bigger than life. I miss my Brian so much.
It's just helpful to have somebody who has walked your walk.
Helpful because Shannon walked that walk just months before Irene when she lost her husband, Christopher.
A man of incredible character and integrity. He just always did the right thing. And it's amazing for me to see that in my kids.
Christopher Slutman, a United States Marine Corps Staff Sergeant and FDNY firefighter with Engine 46 Ladder 27 in the Bronx, was killed in April of 2019 while stationed in Afghanistan. His convoy was hit by an improvised explosive device, or IED. Chris Slutman was 43.
He loved his country, and I'm right there with him, because that was, even though we lost him because of that, he would have no regrets. So it's, you know, I don't either. And I think, honestly, it would be a complete disservice to him if I felt any other way.
Both ladies attribute their shared strength to what Shannon calls collateral beauty.
It's just this wonderful thing that you can look at and go, okay, I lost this, and it's not the same, but I gained this.
It's us. It's me, Shannon, our kids, all our friends. You know, I mean, you always hear collateral damage. When she said collateral beauty, I was like, so accurate.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation supports families of fallen first responders and Gold Star families with young children by paying off their mortgages. Irene and Shannon were recipients of the program, and they will serve as honorary starters for this year's tower climb, and they will be joined by another Irene Maiello. Maiello lost her husband, FDNY Lieutenant Joe Maiello of Engine 163, Ladder 83 on Staten Island, just days after Christmas in 2021. We spoke with her last fall.
Joe Maiello, he always had a smile on his face, always laughing. He had this really infectious laugh, and he would just go into hysterics at times.
Irene just fit with us so quickly.
Fits.
I mean, it was just amazing how quickly we all got along together and everything else.
We had her birthday. She
Yeah,
turned
her
50
birthday
in
was
January,
fabulous.
and she had an incredible birthday party on Staten Island, and we were the best dressed. We even made the Staten
had so
Island
much fun.
advance.
All three will trade their best dressed outfits for something a little more practical on Sunday, June 4th. Each cheered on by husbands who will be there in spirit, each holding close to the beauty that has come from the damage.
We're still working through our stuff. It is still there. We still have our moments that we're sad and we have, bad days. But the joy is out there. And we find so much joy together.
You gotta make the best of it. I said it earlier. One life, one go around, no do-overs, one day at a time.
It was June of 2017 when one family's life would change forever. An NYPD detective severely injured while on duty, and a courageous wife who was determined to overcome the challenges that lie ahead. Arthur Sheehan shows us how she will honor him and all first responders at this year's climb.
Some would consider it a victory just for NYPD detective Dalsh Veve to be here. On June 3rd, 2017, Veve rushed to a scene where shots were reportedly fired in Brooklyn. Zeroing in on a teenage suspect in a stolen car, he would be dragged for 3 blocks, suffering severe brain trauma and other injuries.
We had our clothes ready to go to church the following morning, so that's not something that I ever expected.
Nearly a year later, in 2018, after unrelenting physical therapy, Dalsh Veve left the hospital, Esther by his side, their daughter on his lap. His commanding officer then, Inspector Joseph Gulata.
Dalsh wouldn't be where he was today without the outpouring of love from the community.
6 years after Detective Veve's life was forever changed, one thing remains the same: the strength of that community that surrounds him. From his wife Esther, who set her nursing career aside to focus on his recovery, to now Chief Joseph Gulata at the NYPD's 121st Precinct Station House on Staten Island. Still, Detective Veve is not the same person he was before 2017. He cannot walk, he cannot speak, and when I shook his hand, it was clear he wants to communicate. Esther, fully devoted, hit rock bottom last year on the 5th anniversary of his injury.
You truly believe and you know God will do a miracle one day, but there comes a times where you start questioning your belief. So I want to say I was at a bad place.
And in that dark moment, as if on cue, Chief Gulata called, telling her about the Tunnel to Tower Foundation's stairwell climb, racing up all 104 flights to the observatory at One World Trade Center.
When Chief Gulata reached out to me and told me, oh, you know what, I register, you have to register. I said, okay, fine, I'll do it.
2 weeks later, there she was, climbing to the top. For Chief Gulata, this was always about family.
That night forever changed Esther's life, but it forever changed my life as well. And I made a commitment to that family, and I'll stick to it. And we've become a very close family.
Here's a shot of their family, smartly named Dalsh's Dogs. It includes Lieutenant Carolyn Nidowitz, who served in the same command as Veve in Brooklyn and is now on Staten Island with Chief Gulata. Instead of taking the elevators at their precinct these days, she and the chief go and take the stairs to train for this year's climb. A crucial part of the community that is Dalsh's Dogs is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Fox 5 was there to bring you the story of Veve becoming the foundation's first injured police officer with a young child to receive a smart home renovation. First, they paid off his mortgage, then they renovated his home to tailor it to his specific needs so he can continue his physical therapy. Last year, in their first year as a team together, Dalsh's Dogs had 5 people participate. This year, they have over 45 participating on the team, and they say it sends a clear message to everybody.
I personally just feel so proud that, everyone's just coming together and We'll be making our way up to the top as a team.
This year, Dasha's dogs will be lacing up for the tower climb on June 4th. Exactly 6 years and 1 day since Detective Veve's life was so unfairly altered. The timing not lost on Esther, but she knows what will get her to the top, her new extended family that stays true to their words to never forget.
That's what gives me the strength to wake up every morning to know that, hey, you can do this.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is also there to support our catastrophically injured military veterans. Teresa Priolo spoke to United States Marine Corps Staff Sergeant Benjamin Webb about the problems that confronted him here at home and how the foundation came to his rescue.
Here in Union Beach, the best little town in New Jersey, situated across the Raritan Bay from Lower Manhattan, a special construction project is underway, one dedicated to a U.S. Marine who has sacrificed so much for this great nation. What was here was a badly damaged home, ravaged by Superstorm Sandy, continuing to settle into the ground with no apparent signs of stopping. A situation made worse by a contractor who vowed to fix the home, but didn't. He took nearly $50,000 from this American hero and left him with a home that was uninhabitable.
The house that was here, it was everything that I worked for. It was everything that I had sacrificed. And I think to be lied to was what hurt the most.
Staff Sergeant Ben Webb has completed 4 tours of duty, sustaining significant physical injuries while serving.
Traumatic brain injuries, loss of consciousness. I have major issues hearing. Shrapnel wounds in my upper leg has caused me to have surgeries. Removing it caused long-term irrevocable damage because it was in for so long.
And then there's the psychological impact, the invisible wounds sustained in war.
I mean, when you see the horrors of 20 years of a war, especially being an infantryman, just anybody in general, you don't ever really stop seeing it.
Those injuries, all of them, followed him home and plagued Sergeant Webb as he worked to remedy the home he had purchased. Then he met the folks at Tunnel to Towers. They took one look at the house and all of the damage and determined this house needed to come down. So they demolished it. A bittersweet moment for Webb.
It was everything that I had worked for, that I had put into that, all of the hard work that I had put in. And to see it come down, it was an end of a chapter that was unfinished.
Unfinished but full of possibilities. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation, named in honor of Stephen Siller, who died on 9/11, has lived up to their promise. No hero should be left homeless. To date, the organization has delivered over 1,000 mortgage-free homes to our nation's heroes and committed over $500 million across all of their programs. Together with Sergeant Webb's help, they're building him the home of his dreams.
My life has been given back to me from Tunnel to Towers, my own little corner of the world here, where I can enjoy the rest of my days in peace and tranquility and quiet. So I think that being given back to me, my home getting back to me, is something that's indescribable for me.
Next, the community program that is helping female Afghan refugees who served alongside U.S. military when Tower of Heroes continues. Now to a very special untold story about Afghan women who served side by side with U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, how they are now being helped here at home. Ashley Rodriguez has more on their chance for a new beginning.
Yes, sir. Former Army Sergeant Rebecca Edmondson and Afghan Army Captain Manaz Akbari will climb to the observatory of One World Trade Center. Scaling the 2,226 steps is daunting, but it pales in comparison to the mountains they used to traverse together in Afghanistan.
It's pretty surreal.
It's not by choice that Rebecca and Manaz are reunited in the U.S. When the Americans pulled out of Afghanistan in 2021, Kabul collapsed, and Manaz faced torture and death at the hands of the Taliban. While she is lucky to have been evacuated, both women felt grief in greeting each other.
The fact is that we weren't happy. We lost everything. We lost our country. We lost everything that we had.
Afghan women gained freedom during the 2 decades Americans fought there, and female soldiers like Rebecca and Manaz accomplished what had never been done before. Manaz was a commander in the Female Tactical Platoon, an elite group of Afghan women who gathered intel and fought alongside the Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. It's how she met Rebecca, who voluntarily deployed to the war to work with special operations units long before women were allowed to serve in combat.
They were going on night raids, they were rappelling out of helicopters, they were being shot at, and so it was pretty wild. But again, if I hadn't been there to see it, I don't know that I would have believed it.
Men far outnumbered women in both armies, and while female soldiers risked their lives, they were still forced to prove themselves to their male counterparts. Rebecca and Manaz say they gleaned encouragement from one another. To Manaz, Rebecca represented the liberation of democracy. To Rebecca, Manaz's emancipation exemplified exactly why she was serving. And together, both women showed other Afghan women what could be. Manaz remembers when a young girl approached her.
She was really surprised of when she saw a female with uniform, with weapon, with helmet, and it was opposite of things that the Taliban or their parents teach her.
But that progress came to a screeching halt when the U.S. pulled out. Manaz, a respected commander, was now trying to start her life over, alone in a new country, leaving behind other Afghan female soldiers who were still trying to escape and remain in extreme danger. It's why she and Rebecca are working with PenFed's Afghan Rescue and Resettlement Program, helping refugees who served alongside U.S. forces. Both women called to service after the September 11th attack. They are climbing the World Trade Center steps to keep the memory of why they fought and who they fought for alive.
20 years of investment doesn't just go away because it's no longer on the front page or it's no longer being aired on the news. And it's something that all of us veterans will live with for the rest of our lives. So I think if people really want to support our military and say thank you for our service, it's important that they realize how important it is that we stand by our Afghan allies.
Next, an important part of our history, teaching a new generation of students about September 11th and the tools to make it happen. Stay tuned.
History is one of our most valuable assets. Learning about our past prepares us for tomorrow. It's why the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is trying to ensure the lessons of September 11th do not go forgotten. Here's Jessica Formoso.
That was a day that tore me apart. It tore my family apart, like it tore so many other families apart. We lost a lot of people we loved that day. My father responded as part of the fire department.
Her father is Lieutenant John Kiernan, who was a firefighter for more than 23 years. He worked with the FDNY's Elite Rescue Company before he was forced to retire only weeks prior to 9/11.
I remember when the second plane hit, how I called my father and he said, "I have to get there," and he hung up the phone.
I would see fire department members trying to regather themselves that were just devastated by what had just happened.
As a family, they had lived and experienced one of the worst days in our history. But Christy also saw that her own nieces and nephews were not learning about the events that changed many lives. That, coupled with the inspiration of her own father's story, would lead her to write a series of children's books.
His own grandchildren weren't learning about 9/11 in school. We as a family realized what had to be done. We needed to take action.
The first book, My Buddy's a Hero and I Didn't Even Know It, was written in 2018. The books were written for elementary school students.
They're intended to give kids a foundational understanding of 9/11.
Her Discovering Heroes series of books are now part of the Tunnel to Towers 9/11 Institute, which launched in 2022. The educational components also include the 9/11 curriculum, the Never Forget mobile exhibit, the Russell F. Siller Memorial Scholarships, and a speakers bureau to arrange for first responders and survivors of 9/11 to share their stories.
The Institute is focused on bringing nonfiction resources to teachers, whether they be public school teachers, private school teachers, homeschoolers, anyone who wants to teach a child about 9/11, that's what these resources are for. I want as many kids in this country to know about 9/11 as possible. Every kid should know that on that day, goodness triumphed.
Thank you for joining us for this special look at stories from Tower Climb, New York City. For everyone at Fox 5, I'm Audrey Puente.